It's on! Weird to me, at least. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to what? There was a weird delay for me. I don't know what happened. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Disney Parks Talk Live. Catching up with what's going on in the world of Disney theme parks and otherwise, with a whole lot of otherwise today. A little theme park. Is this really the first major theme park to open in 25 years in the United States?
Not if you count Evermore.
So the first major theme park to open in 25 years.
Yes, this is the biggest one. Like there have been smaller parks, but yes, since Islands of Adventure, this is the first major theme park.
How fun!
And, so we're going to be talking about it. They finally had not finally, but they had some media previews over the weekend. So Benji, who was at that media preview, will be joining us later. And we'll be having an Epic Universe discussion. But first, let's talk about what's going on in the world of Disney after some quick introductions. My name is Doobie, co-founder here at Laughing Place. Over there is Rebecca Mosley, my wife. How you doing, Rebecca?
I'm doing well.
Below her is our Mike Celestino, who's in charge of Southern California theme parks and Star Wars. Hi, Mike.
I want to say this is the busiest I've ever been in my life, which is probably not saying a lot because I'm pretty lazy, but...
Well, the nice part is you got a vacation to Japan coming up, right?
Oh, dude.
Yeah. I mean, half of it is a vacation, sure.
Okay. When do you leave?
Thursday night.
As in 3 days from now?
Yes.
Okay. So you're having your vacation first.
Correct.
Awesome. And then coming out of that into Star Wars Celebration, which will be anything but a vacation for you. And then next to him is the guy in charge of... what do I say?
Putting out merchandise to be pulled, yes.
Yes, the guy who goes to the park, takes pictures of merchandise, and triggers it to be pulled from the shelves. Maybe it was your trigger, but it was definitely pulled. Do you not know this, Rebecca?
I don't.
Oh, go for it, Jeremiah.
So earlier today, I was at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and Roosevelt put out a park-specific line that it will be at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. The manager said it's only in 3 places here: Animal Kingdom, Disney Style, and World of Disney at Disney Springs. There were 4 shirts. Doobie, do you have the pictures of
I got
the
it.
shirts?
Look at that.
There we go. So there's the Mickey one that is Mickey from the different lands, like they used to do for the Mickey Mouse Club.
I loved that one.
In the background of it is attractions.
Yeah.
And then next to that one was the Tiki Room, which I really kept looking at. But then they had also a Haunted Mansion one, and there's the Darth Vader one.
Oh,
so
that box ghost.
Which one are you wearing right now, Jeremiah?
I'm wearing a 30-year celebration shirt, Powerline, because today is the 30th anniversary of a Goofy movie.
Yep.
Thanks to Roosevelt for stylish shirts. I know that colors come off. So these were on the rack. And I, as somebody who people call me a brand ambassador, I'm not so much, but I live Roosevelt's. I decided to share this with our team, the Roosevelt's Insider page on Facebook. If you're not a member and you like Roosevelt's, go over there. Everything. Probably about a minute or so after our article went up, one of the co-founders of Roosevelt's put up a tease that said, coming, big news, Disney and Roosevelt's, Disney Parks and Roosevelt's.
Oh, how funny.
So kind of thought, was this? A little while later, my friend was at Animal Kingdom, bought his shirts, and as he was walking away, they were pulling all the shirts off the racks, and they said these were out too early. So,
Did they chase you down and take it back?
No, I was already long gone, because I know very well before I post anything, to be out of the park as far as possible. So when everybody goes, "Hey, are you there?" I don't have to lie. I'm
my goodness.
No, I'm long gone. But so I've heard that
it pays to be a friend of Jeremiah's, apparently.
It was pretty amazing that we got those. I will say the Haunted Mansion shirt is beautiful. The Mickey Mouse shirt, I bought those 2.
That's the one I want.
And the Tiki Room one was one I kept looking at, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. The Darth Vader one is beautiful. Like Mike, if you see that at Disneyland, you will definitely pick that up. But I went with the Mickey in the Haunted Mansion, and
I love this Haunted Mansion. My son says that. Interesting how the bride has an axe, even though she probably won't very much longer. We don't know if that's the case at Disney World, but this one is so cool. I love this shirt. I would love to have this.
Yeah.
shirt.
I love how these don't feel familiar. So many times it's like the same little piece of art, but in maybe just a little different color tone or whatever. But those are representations that are unfamiliar to me. Like I don't feel like I've seen the Tiki Room birds look like that, and I don't
Doobie,
feel
bring
like
up the Tiki Room one again,
the
please.
mansion
Sure.
characters look like that. I mean the Mickey Mouse Club one, they pull clearly. It's like, it feels like a little piece of art history. But these don't feel familiar. Like I don't feel like I've seen this on 85 different mugs or that kind of thing.
And I like, it's not gaudy and ugly, but it's also not subtle. I mean, you don't have to be the deep fan to recognize this is a Tiki Room shirt. Which I like that. I like that.
No, the best one, the Mickey Mouse one, it is the Mickey from the different days, but the background, you can't see it that well, but there are attractions as the background of the Mickeys.
Yeah.
There you go. You can see Jungle Cruise boat and Space Mountain and everything. So
the Tiki Room, the way the pattern is there, though, we can't see our good friend Fritz.
Oh no, we can't. But I do see Michael, as Kyle says, Mike needs this one. It has his name written all over it.
Pierre, but,
I just put black tape over where it says Pierre.
That's the style.
Wow.
These are cool.
French.
Wow.
Trying to see if we could see the price there. Does that say $79?
It is $75, which if you order the shirts, which these shirts I've been told are only going to be available at the parks, not online. So if you order it online, there's $70 plus shipping and handling plus tax. So and annual pass discounts.
And if you can't get to the parks,
okay, great.
If you can't get to the parks, just text your friend Jeremiah. He'll be happy to pick one up for you.
I swear to you, at least 10 people either messaged me or tried to add me as a friend. And I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Jeremiah, gatekeeper good. That's really good. All right.
Hey, Jeremiah, I think, is also who spotted something new at Animal Kingdom.
The whole reason he was there.
There was a baby in the house.
So this is not my footage. I was on it. This is Benji got this one before the park opens, and I was already planning on being over there, and then I heard about it. So I went straight there, and I don't know if you can grab the Twitter, Doobie, but my video's on there, and
Baby Tucker.
There are times Mike is the same way where we shoot certain footage and we just go like, yep, that we can't get any better than this. And my Tucker footage really was like, hey, I should be working for National Geographic.
All right, so
Kyle is an endangered Maasai giraffe that Animal Kingdom was very happy to welcome to the savannah today. So
Kyle, update the post with Jeremiah's tweet, since it is far superior to the video we have in there. Not that I can find it, Kyle. Sorry, I just can't find it right now.
I'll look for it, Judy, while you guys chat.
All right, so that is the.
It wasn't one that I tagged Taylor Swift in. So
was the line as long to see Tucker as it is to see Bosco?
Boxo.
It's called him Bosco.
No, because when I was there, it hadn't made it onto any of the social medias yet. But when I was leaving, the line was long because it's Kilimanjaro Safari first thing in the morning.
They really should put him someplace else so you can just go see him without having to see the whole attraction. That would be nice.
I did find out that the last baby giraffe that was born in 21 was on the savannah for a little while and then relocated over at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So Tucker, we don't know.
So wait, they share animals between the lodge and the resort and the park.
Mhm.
Oh, that's nice.
That's where the Thompson's gazelles are.
Nobody calls them Thompson gazelles, Jeremiah. We call
Thank
them
you, Doobie.
Tommies. All right, let us get to. I've heard an update from our.
Nope, wrong one. There we go. How come I can't add to stage?
I don't know. Let's remove me first. Now you can. Okay.
Oh, okay. There you go. Is this the one, Jeremiah?
Yes.
Oh. Wow. Let's call you Marlon Perkins.
Oh, wait. So that's the mama. And there's little Tucker.
Oh, and he's running. He's running.
Yeah.
I want to see a grudge match between him and Boxo. I think that'd be kind of fun. But like now, not when Boxo gets big. Like right now.
I'm pretty sure they both look at each other and have no clue what each other is. Like,
it disturbs me that Boxo is considered so lovable when he will eat you.
This is
He is
this was
months
Doobie's
away from eating you.
Okay, so
Well,
Doobie went to Walt
house
Disney
pets
World
will
about a
eat
week.
you.
Doobie went to Walt Disney World about a week and a half ago, and he has this picture where you can see like everybody's camera is trained on this baby tiger, and everybody's like, "Oh, the baby tiger's so cute." This is how it's relayed to me from my husband. Oh, I went to Animal Kingdom today, and I couldn't believe how many people were so excited over this little animal that will happily eat them. What's wrong with you?
That is the bottom line with these things.
Hey, you leave a house pet alone long enough, it'll eat you. There's
Only a cat.
proven stories of that.
Yeah, that
Only
picture.
a cat, not a dog. There's also the audible. Oh, because he made the appearance, and everyone. Oh.
Dude. And I'm envisioning Doobie like standing in front of the glass going, "Stop! He'll eat you! Don't you understand? Don't
Your
love this
people.
animal."
Your people. He will eat you.
Soylent Green is people.
Exactly. Take away the window and sees what happened. Exactly.
Oh, man,
Exactly.
it's cute.
All right, let us move to the West Coast. Do we have someone down there?
What's funny is
Oh,
he's the vegetarian.
I don't eat
Boxo's
them.
a vegetarian?
They don't eat me. We have a deal. It's like the pigeons. We have a deal. All right, Mike Celestino. You don't get the pigeons reference?
I get the pigeons reference. We have
Jeremiah
a deal.
doesn't. Seinfeld. Mike, Season of the Force, go.
Season of the Force is a celebration of all things Star Wars at the Disneyland Resort. We've got a new character at Galaxy's Edge, a character you may have heard of called Luke Skywalker.
What'd you think of meeting him, frankly? Like, just,
I thought the performer did a really good job. I saw people complaining that he doesn't look enough like Mark Hamill, but I feel like in terms of recastings, I am more in favor of people capturing the spirit of the character rather than having to be identical like lookalikes.
Yeah, so he had the aura. He had that Luke aura.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say so. And I got to interact with him a bit. Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't see him, so I was curious.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it. I know people who are definitely not, but
can you scroll back down to that decoder card, Doobie?
I was trying to get to see Luke.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's always the problem with the face characters. None of them look enough alike, but it's not like an animated character or one of those.
Yeah, he looks nothing like him, but that's irrelevant. You want the mannerisms, and you want him to be able to embody the character. Who cares if he actually looks like him? You want him to get in a car wreck just before he comes on stage.
Look how much great footage I got of the back of his cloak.
All right, I'm going back down to a decoder card.
Mike, where were these decoder cards?
I almost forgot about that entirely, but yeah, they were handing them out outside of Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities.
So we had decoder cards. We scroll through a ton of merchandise that they had, some food options, I'm sure. What else?
A whole bunch of stuff: food, merchandise, new Death Star popcorn bucket.
How many did you get?
Go ahead.
How many Death Stars did you get?
I only got one. And I told recently that I had stopped collecting the popcorn buckets, but I did make an exception for this one, and I bought it with a gift card that I was given by Disney, so they kind of gave it to me.
Does it have noise in addition to the lighting? Does it have sound, audio? It does. Okay.
Yeah.
Millions of people screaming out in silence.
It's pretty neat. The lights are neat on its own. Like at nighttime, you could see in the video I did on the Laughing Place on location, I shot it at nighttime, and the lights are really neat looking. But then when you hit the button again, the turbo lasers or whatever light up in green and one at a time, and you can hear it charging up, and then the big thing blasts, and you can hear
needs to
thousands
have
of
the
voices
siren on
screaming out.
there.
Yeah,
That's the one I would have liked. It's just the.
Is there like one place you touch it and just all the popcorn falls out?
It just
Here's
pops
something-
itself.
This is coming soon, and I told my wife she's going to kill me when I buy this, but I believe it's now a 1-to-1 scale mouse droid. They used to sell a smaller one, but this is now the size that it is in the movie, and I just have to have it. You know, they know me. They got me with this.
Why is everyone facing away from the mouse droid?
They're looking at the display behind them
Food,
there.
right? I'm guessing food.
And the mouse droid just like, pay attention to me, people. I'm better than food.
So there was no highly challenging scavenger hunt this year with Season of the Force. However, they do transform.
Is this just pure cheese?
Oh, go ahead.
I think the middle has a hot dog.
I think it's cheese.
Was this there when we were there and I didn't get this?
Correct. You did not.
Okay.
But they did transform the spires into a showcase for the story of the Skywalkers. Mike, how did that hit you?
Yeah, so that's kind of the big main attraction this year for the Season of the Force is the new projection show called Shadows of Memory, a Skywalker Saga. Did I finally get it right?
I think
remember. It's the title. It's really good. You can watch full video of it at our Laughing Place YouTube channel. It reminds me a lot of the Harry Potter one on Hogwarts Castle, but you know, I'm much more connected to the Star Wars franchise than I am Harry Potter, so this was way more meaningful to me. And I also think the projections are brighter and easier to see and decipher what's actually going on. I'm not sure if that's really the case, or maybe the throw is less distant.
This is one of the most impressive theme park transformations for me. I am no fan of castle projections at all. And I was in tears watching this. I was so moved, and it was one of those things where I kept having to remind myself of what I was looking at. It's like, wait, those are the spires.
Yeah.
It reminds me in that way of Fantasmic, where at some point during Fantasmic you go, oh wait,
it caught on fire.
You know, but I thought the way that they used kind of a cave drawing motif style to the artwork that appears on it, it's almost like you're seeing an evolution of cave drawings telling the story in a way. Yeah. It's really remarkable, and there's a point where they break away. It feels like you're seeing something that's full, and then they smash it and you see into it, and it has this depth. I mean, from the moment it started, where they turned that really barren landscape into what felt like snowy peaks. That's kind of at the very beginning of it. All of a sudden, you thought you were looking at snow-capped mountains of some sort. I was like, wow, I was really impressed. And like I say, I do not bother watching. The only projections that I've enjoyed, to be frank, are the ones that appear on Small World, especially during the holidays and when they do the holiday projections on the castle at Magic Kingdom. But when they tried that Magic Memories and You and all of those, I just walk. I don't know if it's my vision or whatnot, but they don't grab me. I'm like, you're showing a movie on a wall, but this was transformative.
I agree, and I still don't know how they did that hologram that you just showed coming out of the droid.
It's pretty
Yeah,
fun.
I don't see the seams there, I guess, which
Yeah.
is pretty good.
My answer is always Pepper's Ghost. Always.
Probably. Definitely worth seeing if you're at Disneyland. And I think it's permanent. Like, I don't think it's for Season of the Force only. And I will say one of my favorite things about it is it fits my theory, because I was worried when I heard about the show. I was like, oh, they're not going to put all this money into a show and then have the timeline shift like I theorized. But then I saw the show, and guess where it ends? At the end of Return of the Jedi. So it's like, okay, this only reinforces my theory that we'll get a time shift. But I think that's going to be announced at Celebration coming up in a couple weeks.
And one of the things that we've noticed being at the park is that they add show times. So if this is something that you're interested in and you're at Disneyland, I highly suggest as you kind of get after that lunchtime period, early afternoon, double check the app and see, because several times now people have walked into the park with it only having one display time in the app, and then later on in the day a second time has been added, and based upon what I saw, its popularity, very well worth it. There are designated areas to stop and view it. I would say that you want to be able to see the spires from end to end, as long as you can see, that breadth of spires. I actually grabbed a spot right outside docking Bay 7, not the optimum spot, but I like to be easy access to a sidewalk. I don't like to be surrounded by people.
Sure.
So I was able to grab a spot right at kind of at the edge of that walkway, and I found my view was very good. There's, it wasn't completely unobstructed, but I still got the overall breadth of the area. But the cast I thought when I was there, I was really impressed with the way that they've been able to organize kind of flow patterns through the area while also having designated areas. They do require standing in certain areas. So even though initially people may be sitting, when it gets closer to showtime, they will ask them to stand. So if those types of things matter to you, be sure and inquire of the cast when you choose your spot, if this is a standing area or if you'll be permitted to sit. As they, continue to kind of work out those types of things. But I was impressed, even like, kind of day 1, day 2, that it was already kind of well orchestrated as far as the guest control patterns in using that spot.
Seasons of the Force is through May 11th. If you'd like to go even more in depth, Mike Celestino did a great edition of LP on Location on our YouTube channel this week, featuring Seasons of the Force. So he's got some more backstage on the merchandise, the food, a great interview with some of the creatives here. So what's so funny?
I'm just now seeing Kyle's comment.
It's actually a salt ghost?
Salt instead of a pepper.
Why is that funny?
Moving right along. Get it
I
on. Get it on.
I think it's funny.
I saw it. I didn't think, I'm like, Kyle's done better. All right. Let us move on to the main subject of today's show, assuming he's still there. Yes, he is. Let us bring on Benjamin Breitbart. Hello, Benjamin.
Hello. Greetings from Disney's Contemporary Resort and Campground.
Resort and Campground. Bay Lake or Main Tower?
Main Tower.
Oh, look at you. Never stayed in the Main Tower before.
Yeah, I got upgraded somehow to concierge, which is a nice little perk.
I get salt instead of pepper, but why salt? Why is salt funny with salt?
Can we go behind LP and discuss your recent accommodations, Ben, or do you not want to discuss?
No, we don't want to go too deep into that.
That's part of the press event.
We're not going too deeply into that. All right. So the reason Benji's on here is because he got to visit Epic Universe as a member of the media. What was it? 2 days ago, Saturday? And
Saturday.
So this was the first time guests have been able to go into the
Which
park.
is somehow only 2 days ago. If you had told me, I would have said 5.
This was the first time guests were able to go into the park and talk about it, send pictures from it, yada yada yada. And so, Benji, let's just start. What are you looking at, Jeremiah?
Yada yada yada.
Let's just start, Benji, with your overall impressions of the first major theme park that opened in the United States in 25 years. Epic Universe.
I would say 24 years.
All right. I was rounding up.
Okay. Well, the good news is Epic Universe is leaps and bounds better than the Terra Luna Hotel. I could not stand. Nothing about that hotel was good, except maybe the decor. The vibe was good, but that was about it. But no one cares. But
before I continue, I will say if you are going to Epic Universe and want to remain spoiler free, get out of here now. We're going to be spoiling it both in word and visuals. Go on.
So, obviously, I think you make a good point in that this is the first sort of virgin park we've had in quite some time where they could, just build something as the themed entertainment industry, artistry, not to make it sound too pretentious, but has evolved over the years. This is the first place where they really got to just take land and build something. It wasn't replacing something else. It wasn't, trying to fit into a little box. It was a brand new green space. And, it was interesting to see how they chose to execute on it. I think many parts work very well and many parts were disappointing. But what's the best way? Go land by land?
Yes, land by land, and starting with the spectacular entrance.
Yeah, so Celestial Park was a big disappointment to me. So it's this big sort of long thoroughfare. The concept of the park is kind of fun in that like there's this chronosphere thing that takes energy, and then it has these portals which are gateways to other lands. So the gateways, they don't connect. Like you go into a land and then you go back out to Celestial Park. You go in and go out. And so there's the thingy. So that's the front of the park. So you go through the first portal and that takes you to Celestial Park. And in my head, I had the idea that this was going to be like the gardens at Shanghai Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not. I think that's what they were going for. However, it was just sort of concrete with occasional pools of water. And it, had the water definitely helped, but it didn't have the sort of terraced, everything seemed very flat. And then at the end, you have this. So this is the front of the park. And you can see all the way to that hotel is the
Helios
to the park. Right. But so you can see from the front to the back, all the way to the back of the park, which is not something.
So you're telling me that right now I'm like looking at Toontown if I'm standing on Main Street.
Exactly.
Wow, that's wild.
And so, I mean, obviously Epcot has a little bit of that vibe where you can see, but it feels much deeper because of the lagoon and everything. So, but it's the only park I can think of besides Epcot where you can see the back of you really can see how big the park is from the front. And it makes it feel very small. And as you can see here, like now you can see the pools, but it just doesn't have that sort of beauty. Like there's pools of water, but doesn't flow as much as it should. There's nice elements to it, but as a whole, it just felt like the budget got cut. I mean, I don't know that that's the case, but that's how it feels. It's like they had this vision of what it was going to be, and it didn't happen. So there's technically
I was gonna say, for whatever reason, those initial views that you all share from Celestial remind me of Naboo. every time.
But Naboo, I feel like the thing about Naboo is that you feel like there's nooks and crannies to discover. It has its hero statement when you walk in with the Millennium Falcon, but
not Batuu. No, not Batuu.
Oh, Naboo.
Literally the movie, where we saw Amidala standing on a porch, all heartsick, kind of thing.
So let me ask you real quick, because
this is not Celestial Park, by the way.
Okay. This is okay. Never mind. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
One of the things that was an early plan, like when this was announced, Celestial Park was to put the park back into theme parks. And one of the early things was Celestial Park was going to be open. Like you could just walk in there. Anybody could go in and enjoy the park area. But I do agree with Benji. There is a lot of just concrete space. And when I got the chance to explore it, like that, the fountains in the middle are very beautiful. And it reminds me of the stuff that you see in Europe, but it
Yeah.
is very like, I did hear at night, it takes on a whole other vibe. Like there's statues of, you walk in and it's Venus when you walk in, and I believe Apollo is at the Helios, and Apollo transfers his power to Venus. So it goes from day to night, but it's a whole like light vibe area in there. This is stuff that I learned from friends.
Yeah, but the park, it's opening in summer, so that doesn't happen. So it hasn't happened yet, as far as I know, because the park hasn't been open past 7. So I will see how that goes. There's 3 attractions technically in the land. There's a puddle park, which I think is generous to call it an attraction. There's the world's lamest carousel. I thought it was going to be this like massive thing, and it's big in its footprint, but it goes so slow. You don't get the joy of it being a carousel. I think it does like 1 rotation, and you go up and down, and it's
So,
like you
let
can
me
feel
ask
like
you
the
about
horse wanted to go faster.
So
That's interesting.
I've been paying attention on social media, and there's a real dichotomy between people who sound like you and people who are like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then the carousel is one example where I've seen more than one person just talk about how it's very special, the way the movements are in sync, and just the slowness being a feature of it. And it's just like the most spectacular carousel that you've ever done for that reason. Do you just not see that at all?
I'm not upset. Like if people are happy with it, that's great. But it just, to me, like the in sync vehicle thing we've done for a while. You can do it at Luigi's. So it just was so slow that it wasn't like, it's not that I wanted the carousel to be thrilling. It's just, you kind of want a cool down moment and, to feel like you're going around on a carousel. And I guess it just wasn't that. Now, if people enjoy it, that's great. I don't begrudge them. It's not like I'm morally against it. I just thought it was very boring. And you can even see like some other influencer had video of it, of me on it, just like, and I looked so bored. And that's not like, I want to like it. I just didn't.
Oh, to be fair, there are other media people on that carousel at the same time, and most of them look the way you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like Celestial Park didn't hit you the way you anticipated, in it kind of on that negative side of the column. So can I ask you what hit you in a way that was unanticipated, kind of on that plus side of the column?
Let me go on the coaster though for a second.
Yeah, Stardust Racers is what I've heard is one of the best coasters.
Yeah, and I didn't do it because they said it's very intense, and I had another opportunity I thought would be better suited for me. But people seem to enjoy it. It's a dueling coaster, which is surprising given the history of Universal dueling coasters. But and there's a flux capacitor on the back of it, or front of it, for a reason. So once again, this is just a coaster, but I've heard it's a good coaster. It's intense, very intense. You're not missing anything if you don't like it. It's not like a storytelling like Guardians where you feel like you need to do it because you want to have that experience. But it's the people who did it seem to enjoy it. And there's 2 different sides. My understanding is the green side is more intense than the yellow side, which is counterintuitive. But so just a heads up on that. But so there was nothing in Celestial Park that I felt. The other thing I thought was odd about Celestial Park was that there's a lot of food and beverage in Celestial Park and not so much in the lands. And I feel like as a guest, I would want to eat in one of the themed portals, not so much just eat in the equivalent of Main Street. But I thought that was an odd choice.
Quick question. So I've read before it opened that there's the entrance, and then you go into a land and you come back out, and you go into a land. Is it really like that? And how does that come across?
I mean, annoying, but I don't know how. Celestial Park is quite large, so I don't know that's going to have. I mean, sort of famously, Disneyland had it originally like that, and then they realized it was not going to work. So I don't know. As long as they don't decide to suddenly put a major entertainment piece, which apparently they're not doing entertainment in Celestial Park, sort of famously. it's probably okay because there's a portal entrance and then there's sort of like side exits. So there is enough flow there if you need it. And I understand why they did it, because to make it connect would have been, first of all, there's sort of practical reasons with expansion paths and things, but also it would have it's hard to transition from Super Nintendo World to Dark Universe. So I get it, but
it doesn't,
the operation side of me was like, oh.
It doesn't feel like just a ton of backtracking when you're there.
No, because there's only 4 lands, so there's only so much backtracking you can do.
Jeremiah?
And the land, I mean, we'll talk. Do you want to go to Isle of Burke?
Well, let Jeremiah finish first.
Oh, sorry.
It is definitely backtracking, because I headed straight to Dark Universe and then went over to Nintendo and then back to Dark Universe and then to Wizarding World. So because the park is so massive and there isn't a straight across, it's like you're walking around the world's largest hub that you can't cut directly through.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Epcot. Like, I mean, you have to backtrack at Epcot too. One thing I do like about Celestial Park is there's these little concierge booths outside of each land where there's like a fuel rod station and presumably, someone to help you there, and probably eventually, credit card salesman with a timeshare. But like, at least where the fuel, like, it's very clear where the fuel rods will be and things like that.
It'll also be interesting to see how these areas are flowing once there's like capacity guest dynamics going on, because I'm assuming that right now with these previews and whatnot, that they're not operating at the higher levels of their capacity. I would imagine that they ramp that up over time.
Sure. So I wouldn't be fair for us, I think, to judge operations based on the preview, because it was presumably less guests. It was also there was maybe 100 media and thousands of team members, which are not traditional guests.
Right.
So I don't know until we know what they sort of cap the capacity at, or what the capacity ends up being.
Right.
That it's really fair to judge, because I don't know what that's going to look like. Also, the park wasn't fully operational, so that puts stress on places where otherwise there may not be stresses. So I think it's a little premature to gauge how it will feel like that, except where sort of obvious, where it's already kind of clustered together.
Benji, one of the things that really struck me, and I don't know if you got how you guys entered, when you go into the main part of the park, into the entrance, they have security, and then the turnstile, the screen point, the face scanning, because they use the facial ID recognition, is only about maybe 10 feet from the security point. Like, just for a smaller day, the line to get in was backed up down to the parking lot. So I can't imagine a rope drop for this, like how bad it'll be. But that also goes back, I believe, to the old structure of this was going to be more of an open area.
Yeah, I think
I keep hearing that
the front of the park seems a little under developed, but once again, a little hard to say how it will actually be in practice.
Gio, thank you for your question. We'll get to that later. And if anyone has any specific questions, please do ask them, and I will make sure I bring them up in a bit. Rebecca?
Oh, no. Benji just was talking about how he wanted to talk about the dragons, how to train your dragons.
There we go. Isle of Burke. Go, Benji.
This is the biggest of the lands by a significant margin. And it has a couple coverage presented by Attractions Magazine. It has a couple different. First of all, you can see in the portal here, like the sort of LED things. I'm curious to see how that actually holds up, but it's cool while it lasts. And this is, if I had to pick a favorite land, this is it. There's a couple attractions. I only did 2 of them, plus the meet and greet. The Toothless meet and greet is amazing. Like, you can put your hand on Toothless and you can feel Toothless kind of breathing which is really kind of cool.
And then he sneezes at you. Oh wait, that's the Triceratops.
No, I was really that was a special one. I'm not a huge. I liked How to Train Your Dragon. I haven't followed the franchise all the way through, so I'm not. It's not like I'm relying on my affinity for How to Train Your Dragon, but so there's a water ride which they did not seem to think is anything special. There's a pendulum swinger which just seemed kind of like a vomit comet, but the two things we did was the coaster here, the family coaster, Hiccups Gliders, is a lot of fun. Very kind of Hagrid, Slinky Dog, like family coaster, but just fun, like joy kind of coaster, which I thought was really well done. And then you also have the stage show here, which takes place in the there it is.
He's just a big puppy.
There's a stage show in that, which in the hatchery. I don't want to spoil what happens. I was a little underwhelmed, but I was in the minority, so I feel like I need to acknowledge that. It wasn't bad. I just wasn't impressed with the sort of flying dragon thing. It kind of felt Disney on Ice to me.
Okay.
So it not that it wasn't cool. It's just it wasn't, the stuff surrounding it wasn't amazing enough to for it to just be relying on that one trick. But I really like the glider.
The same show that came from Asia Parks.
That's one shorter of their biggest somehow. Things. It's only like a 18-minute show, at least in its current iteration. And it's weird, like too, because like they sing songs, but they have like handheld mics, which may just be a sort of temporary solution. But it's weird to be like in a hatchery with like a rock star. But
did you get to see the smaller meat? What was it? It has a cute name. I forget the name of the little toothless.
I didn't.
Okay.
Did you see the other dragons that walked around the land? Like there were other ones out.
I didn't see them personally.
Okay.
So, but that, even though I didn't see everything that was cool about this land, this is my favorite land, Isle of Berk.
Now, Jeremiah.
So the fire drill is the ride that Benji said that they didn't seem too big on. That's much more of a like it's a water ride. It's for kids, and you get to be on a Viking boat and you go around a small little track. But the great thing about this land is, as Benji said, it is so massive. Like when I first saw the model for this, I thought, oh wow, that's a big waste of space. But every part of this, it is like the cartoon has come to life. And that like I walked through there, and I walked through before I could take pictures, and this was probably the land where I reached for my phone the most. And you'll turn a corner and there's a dragon up in the rafters, there's baby dragons, there's dragons that are in a fish basket that are fighting for it. They even have in the blacksmith area, one of the dragons is sitting there sleeping, and one of the characters comes out and interacts with him.
Sounds wonderful.
How about Harry Potter Land?
So Harry Potter Land, the scope, everything is very big. It's very
the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. If we call
it. Thank you, Jeremiah.
So Harry Potter Land is
that has nothing to do with Harry Potter at all, actually.
That's not true.
Well, no, none of it is Harry Potter except for the one ride that, but is 1927 Paris.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, boys, settle down. Go on, Midgie.
So see where it's gray? That's when you are in non-magical Paris. And then you cross under this archway and everything becomes more colorful. And that's when you're in magical Paris.
Okay. So this is Muggle Paris.
Yeah.
And then we'll be in magical Paris.
Yeah. Okay. This is my favorite. It's not based off of the movie. I mean, it's not as closely identified with the movies as the other two are. But this is, I think, my favorite Harry Potter land in terms of just things to do. There's, obviously it takes place in France. There's a circus show that went 101 while we were waiting for it, so we didn't see that out of full disclosure.
Really cool.
I've heard terrible things about it, but I don't know if that's true or not because I didn't see it. Then
This land looks spectacular. Spectacular.
my favorite thing is there's like a talking portrait that's like, the equivalent of the fountain. Like there's a performer there. And so you're just walking by and you think, oh, here's another talking portrait. And it's like, no, I'm talking to you. Like, how's your day going? And like, what are you holding there? So I thought that was a nice little touch.
So like crush.
This is the entrance to the circus. The circus doesn't, there's some, magic there that it doesn't actually take place in that tent. That's my thumb.
I wanted to get to this talking portrait. Which is can't really.
Yeah, it's hard to see with the glare. It was a very sunny day.
Sure, it's one of those. Yes, Cosme is very gifted in her wand creations.
Thank you, Matt.
Wouldn't you agree, Simon?
Yes. My wand is quite special indeed.
That's really cool.
That is
but
fun.
that has my favorite attraction is the Ministry of Magic attraction. The queue is amazing. You can see a walkthrough on the website, once again presented by Attraction Magazine. And you walk through the Flu network, and I'm not a huge Harry Potter aficionado, but I can appreciate epic experiences. So you see this building is huge, and it feels bigger than it looks in this video.
Spectacular. It's amazing.
So the queue in that building alone, they can accommodate 7 hours of queue. It is going to be like, I didn't get a chance to ride it. It came up literally for the day Benji was there. And this is one of the things that everybody that I know has been, including me, chomping at the bit. I walked in there and said many words that could not be repeated on this live stream, as did most people around me, because you walk in there and I walked into this land going, this will be the reason why I renew my annual pass to these parks. It is such a beautiful land. And for just being in Paris, walking the streets, it feels like you are actually in Paris. The buildings there are massive. They're bigger than anything in any of the other Harry Potter lands in the parks. But yeah, this building, you see so many details. And if you're a fan of the Harry Potter movies, or at least the last ones, this is where you go. But the rest of the land is based off the Fantastic Beasts story. Don't ask why you transfer from 1927 Paris to London in the 2000s. It's magic.
Yeah, they tried to explain it to us, and then I realized they were just justifying it. But there's this is the queue. You meet this house elf that's according to them, original to this attraction. It was Dolores Umbridge's house elf.
Okay.
And then you go through the Flu network, and you end up on these ride vehicles that seat 12.
Oh, wow.
Pro tip is the back row is better. At least according to the sort of consensus of the folks I was with. But here you can see the ride vehicle. Now, we couldn't videotape. Actually, it probably seats more than 12. It seats
14.
But now it looks like a Tower Terror ride vehicle, and it goes up and down, and it's sort of if Spider-Man Rise of Resistance had a baby. But it doesn't drop. It's not a drop ride. It's not like suddenly you have that feeling in your stomach. It's just more like an elevator feel.
Is it thrilling?
It's exciting. I wouldn't say it's a thrill ride. I mean, do you consider Indiana Jones thrilling? It's not. It's an adventure you're on, but it's not like a roller coaster type ride.
Now, I know, having visited Universal with you, that neither Forbidden Journey nor Gringotts are particularly impressive to you. They're not, I must do these when I go. It's not that you think they're bad necessarily.
Gringotts, I think, is bad.
Okay.
The Forbidden Journey, I can appreciate it. I think it's innovative. I think it's good. Just not something I need to do time and time again.
So how would
I agree. Gringotts is bad.
How would you kind of place this?
This is the best Harry Potter attraction ever built, in my opinion.
Now,
this is
how would
good.
you
This
place
is
it
great.
within?
This is. I mean,
How would
it's
you
not,
compare it to
it's not. I wouldn't say it's like. I mean, it's one of the best attractions built. I wouldn't put it ahead of like Pirates in Shanghai or anything like that.
Okay.
But
But leaving it
and-
within that universal realm, I think of people still referring to like Spider-Man as a really innovative, even if it's a bit dated now, but really innovative at the time. Does this grab you in that way?
this is more. I mean, I like the Spider-Man IP more. I like the Harry Potter IP. Spider-Man is more fun. It's silly and kind of fun. This is more serious and thrilling. But this is much more technically impressive. And I don't just mean just because of time. I mean, this is not. There are screens, but it is not reliant. It is not. The percentage of screens is less than you probably think.
Oh wow, okay, that's cool.
And there's still
that's
plenty of
exciting.
screens. I don't want to mislead people, but it's like it's much more dimensional than something like Spider-Man. There's no 3D glasses in this whole park.
Oh,
Wow.
interesting.
Okay, that's amazing.
Huh.
Right. How about Dark Universe?
Dark Universe is surprisingly tiny as a land. And I had a bit of like I like sort of the campy monster bit that Universal did sort of in the 90s, where like Green Frankenstein would come and like mess with your family. It wasn't really scary. This is, and when they built this, they were like, oh, this is actually gonna be scary. It's kind of neither. It's more macabre than that, but it's also like not it's not Halloween Horror Nights either. Like, for example, you see this like smoking fountain that's in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
As we were told, like that's the place that the vampires put humans to drain their blood into the catacombs beneath the land. And you're like, that's kind of grim.
Yeah.
And there's the Invisible Man.
No, the Invisible Man was over there.
Wow. Did they make that joke?
No,
he's
I'm not
literally
kidding. The Invisible Man is here.
No, he was over there.
Okay.
But and then so there's two attractions here. So sort of famously, originally there was going to be a stage show that got cut, and they added this Wolfman coaster at the last minute. It is
Got to show this.
okay. It's fun as a coaster, like it's a fun little ride profile, but it's very cheap. Like there's a Wolfman that most people don't even notice. Actually, two Wolfmen that people don't even notice.
You can't even see him.
Right. And then at the end, there's a character who you might think is like a broken AA, but it's not broken. It's just a static mannequin. So it's very, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things that if Disney built it, they get a lot of crap. But then the Monsters Unchained ride it's so you can see this Kuka arm here. It's similar to Forbidden Journey, but less, once again, more practical effects than Forbidden Journey. Not scary. I heard that like, oh, this is gonna be actual scary. It's not really scary. It's not pleasant in terms of that. Like, I mean, there's horror imagery, but it's not like nothing jumps out at you or nothing too, it's PG-13 kind of thing. And then, so it's good like that. There's some neat, very impressive things, some very impressive audio animatronics. And then there's some things where it just feels like they didn't. So the Kuka arm, they show this doing this thing, and it doesn't act like, at least it doesn't feel like it goes all this craziness, like where it's about to like jump completely all the way down on the ground. It's not that thrilling. I mean, if it does it, you don't notice it. But you can see here, this front projection AAs is really cool. And then you can see the monster in just a second there he is. But yeah, but there's parts that just feel like construction paper left there. And once again, I don't, the park is still technically in technical rehearsals, but there's parts that just sort of felt unfinished. And so, I will reassess this one on opening day to see, how complete it feels. But yeah,
So,
as a land, I was kind of disappointed how small it was.
Yeah, I when I walked in there, that was my first thought. I can see this is going to be the first land with an expansion. I mean, if you know theme parks and you look around, you can already see like, okay, that's where the next expansion's going to go.
Yeah, like literally on the Wolfman coaster, you can look like when you pull into load.
Yeah.
You look at one side, you see like a chain link fence, and on the other side, you see construction equipment. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's not the greatest show in the world.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Curse of the Werewolf is a fun little coaster. I didn't pay enough attention because I wanted to walk in as unspoiled as possible. That it's a spinner, but it's not. It's not like a Wild Mouse spinner. It spins, and it has one part where I was just. At first, I thought the ride had broken down, and it does kind of a backtrack a little bit. This land was what I was looking forward to the most, and it has some great feels to it. And like Benji said, when it's not summer and you can be in there at night, it'll be really cool. But one of the things, there is so much backstory to this land. If you want to dive into it, they have an Igor character walking around. They have the Invisible Man. They have, a violinist that tells the stories of it all. So it's the land that you can spend a lot of time in. But again, just like Benji said, if a lot of people are spending a lot of time in that land, it's going to get really uncomfortable because it is pretty small.
I will also say too, one thing you may not expect is it takes place in modern day. So it is, and they say that it's going to keep moving forward. So it's like, it's always going to be 2025, 2026. So the events that take place before this will be 20 years ago today, and then next year will be 21 years ago, and 22. Like the story of the land will keep moving forward as time does. At least, I mean, that's what they're going to say today. Who knows what will happen? But
that's interesting.
And you can go get painted up as a monster. That's very weird.
Because nothing says Central Florida summer like full body.
Yes, I walked in. I walked into where they do the painting, and it's in part of their shop, and they have a queue for just the face painting, but they do full intricate detail, and they can, for Frankenstein's monster, they'll put a headpiece on, and it was something that it's kind of like they're taking Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique to the next level. But again, very much to Benji's point, you go and do that in the middle of summer, you're going to hate yourself after spending $45-$60 for whatever you want to get in there. But yeah,
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by the notion, though, that Benji, that they made sure to message to y'all that this was going to be a continually, like, this was meant to be kind of in real time.
I don't want to oversell like the pushing of it. And I think part of it's perhaps like the opposite, because when you go in there, you're not sure, like, is this the 1940s or is this today? Like, it's not very clear.
Okay.
That it's modern. And so you really have to ask. And that's where we kind of like would go like, oh yeah, it takes, it's today and it's always going to be in the present. So when I say something happened in 1990, it's going to be, 25 or 35 years ago today. But so
that was more in response to inquisitions rather than kind of their messaging, their labeling of the land.
And I don't know why they made that decision, because nothing about it feels. It's not like they're all on their computers or something.
For me, if that was part of their like unique messaging to you guys, it would make me wonder if there was some sort of Evermore-ish.
It very much is Evermore. In the Flaming Windmill Tavern, they have werewolf hunters that tell stories of the prizes that they have hanging above the bar, which are different versions of horror creatures. Like they have a version of The Thing from John Carpenter that's kind of a morphine. So those storytellers will be the ones that keep up the story. And sadly, like Gio said, as long as they're there. And yes, we've all seen theme parks go through enough changes where sadly those storytellers go by the wayside quicker than anything else. So get there and enjoy it first.
If that got embraced, though, that could be a very interesting aspect the land if it became a bit of a locals and that kind of dynamic where you're creating a character in this in this parlor, right? You go to this place, you get made up as this character or whatever, you kind of immerse yourself in this land, you become part of the story, and then the next time you come back, that storyteller is telling some story that's kind of related to whatever it was you did. I mean, that would be a very interesting component if it was realized.
There's no way that's happening.
Well, there were team members that were coming in and having their characters. Like they were coming in, they've had their backstory, and the characters in the land, both here and in the Wizarding World. The Wizarding World has exchange students from Hogwarts and from the America School of Wizardry that I can never remember, and they walk around and they aren't telling the story, they're interacting with your story and with the stories of the land. So it's not Gaston going, so Belle, it's them asking, well, what school are you from, or what type of monsters are you looking for?
Yeah, I just don't know that I mean, first of all, just given the sort of inability to frequent that park, at least initially, that will take off, and by the time it's easy to get into that park, that will all be cut. But yeah, I mean, there's some great street atmosphere, particularly in Harry Potter land, the Harry Potter and the Ministry of Magic. But I just don't see it taking off. It's never taken off, right? It didn't take off in Batu.
I was gonna say these kinds of notions are always so interesting from like development to execution. I mean, I can still remember when some friends were hired into Avatar and they were terrified of this language that they thought they were going to have to be proficient in initially when it opened, and they were kind of preparing themselves to learn this additional language, only to realize that pretty much if you know how to say hello, maybe, it's like it didn't end up being a thing because of the way that it had been initially shared at D23 in part, where they like wouldn't break character at all when you were trying to find out about this new land. So
I mean, remember when Galaxy's Edge opened and you try to ask for a bathroom and people ended up peeing their pants? So I mean, it's fine to try that stuff, but there's sort of a baseline level that people are comfortable with, and if you do much more than that, it just doesn't seem to take from the general public. Now, if they do an after-hours event or something like that, that's a different story. But most guests want to go on. It's a theme park; they just want to go on the rides.
I like how Gio says the challenge with an IP space land is you're locked into that IP. So then changes are difficult later on because you've kind of locked yourself into this, into this box. And that can happen, especially if it becomes, surprisingly toxic or loses interest or whatnot.
That's what it is about Dark Universe, is that like there's enough different places they can go. I mean, it's not specific to any one horror film, but
okay.
Anyway.
So in the interest of time, we're not gonna go with the Super Nintendo World as the one area that is not brand new for this park.
But there is a new element I want to know about.
There's two.
Well, okay, so I didn't do the Yoshi ride. They seem to not want us to do the Yoshi ride. So, okay. But it is much more. It's much more dynamic than the Hollywood version. It's multi-level. You enter on the second story. You go into the portal, and the first thing is you go up an escalator because it's Universal, so there has to be an escalator. And then, so you enter on the second floor, and then you can go down. It's got the whole, as my VIP tour guide called them, magic bands, but I think he meant to say power-up bands. And then so that there's the Mario section, and then you can go over to the Diddy Kong section, Donkey Kong Country section.
Okay. Which is really cool.
As my VIP tour guide kept saying, I'm on Team Diddy. I think it's very important to say I'm on Team Diddy Kong.
Have some oil for you.
Wow. No. Did you do this coaster?
I did the coaster. It's very jerky and very short. However, was kind of fun. even though I know how it worked, you still kind of fall for the trick of
Oh,
like,
good.
So it might be a one and done kind of situation, but it is fun. I would check it out if it's not
Very slow loader.
Yeah.
Very slow.
And then the one thing that I thought was surprising is they have this stand here, and they called it Donkey Kong juice. And see how the menu board has nothing on it? So we didn't know exactly what we're getting. And I was surprised when my yellow soft serve turned out to be pineapple. I had presumed it would be banana. But it was fine. It was basically a Dole Whip. But that was
it to be banana.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it will be, maybe eventually.
Can we make sure we explicitly answer Gio's question as how many outdoor versus indoor is rain going to have a major effect on this place, Jeremiah?
Yes, because when I was there, it rained. There are 2 attractions inside. One has a 7-hour wait, and the other one is Monsters Unchained. The shows...
and Mario Kart.
Yeah, yes, Mario Kart, I apologize. A 6-hour wait. I was there, and I was there for the first rain of the park. Torrential downpour, no covering. Think of being stuck in Epcot when you're like in the middle of nowhere. That's how it was.
I pulled him down, Judy.
It was just like with Islands of Adventure. When it rains or there's a storm, you're very limited. And that's, it's the same with if you're at SeaWorld or Busch Gardens, because they base more of theirs on the coasters. The park itself, when it rains, especially if you're in Celestial Park, you have plenty of covers if you want to buy a drink. They have some great restaurants out there. The stores, the one store I went into that's in Celestial Park isn't overly large. So everybody was trying to just get in there, and it was tight. But they have 2 shops. They have an Emporium type shop, and then they have Santa Claus's workshop shop, because he came to stay at Celestial Park, where he has a lot of the toys and a lot of the merchandise from all of the lands, where the main shop had highlights, but then also had some epic merchandise itself.
Okay.
I think I feel like it's gonna be a problem if it rains, because the indoor spaces are tight as it is, and so when everyone kind of rain shelters themselves, it could be a significant problem. Even from exit queues, I can see the exit queues aren't very long, so people won't want to leave to go out into the rain. And Celestial Park has no covering.
Yeah.
So now the one thing they did say is that the top of the magic wand is a lightning rod. So someday someone's going to get a great picture of lightning striking the top of the magic wand.
Oh, cool.
Oh, very cool.
All right. Well, there's our preview of Epic Universe. I kind of want to ask another question, but I also kind of want to not be here for the rest of the night. So I'll just leave it there.
Now I want to know what the question is.
I just want to know a prediction. A very short prediction. I know it's not in its final state, but a very short prediction. When this park has been open for a month, a lot of people have seen it. There's a general zeitgeist about it. Is it going to be wow, slight disappointment? What's a one description prediction from both of you guys, if you don't mind?
Satisfied.
Satisfied? Okay. Yeah. Jeremiah?
I think wowed. Walking into the park, I was more wowed than each of the portals to the different worlds had special touches, like the detail. This is a park where I could spend hours just looking at the details. The coasters, great. The dark rides, I haven't gone on. The tourists that come, they'll be in line for hours. They'll buy their express pass. One of the things we didn't talk about is these lines, especially for Hiccup's gliders, that queue was massive. Think of Dueling Dragons when it first opened, and for a little small coaster in the Isle of Berk, half of that was probably the queue.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's hard to say without knowing how long people are going to have to wait in line. But I think that's going to be the frustration. There's either not enough to do because the lines are too short, or because there's only 12 attractions or something crazy like that, and half of those are barely attractions. And there's really 4 or 5 decent attractions, maybe 6, or they're going to be waiting a long time, and their day will be full, but they'll be waiting a long time in queues. Now the queues are pretty cool, but their ride per cap is not going to be high.
Okay, thank you both for joining us. Jeremiah, you're not going anywhere quite yet. We're going to bring Mike back. We're going to finish out the rest of the show, but thank you, Benji, for talking to us about Epic. Looking forward to you going for the actual opening, and we'll talk some more then.
Sounds
Benji
good.
Breitbart, everybody. Let's say goodbye to Ben, and hello again to Mike Celestino.
And be awake still?
As we continue our Disney Parks talk. Okay, so let's go. Do we have a trademark yet, or a bumper yet for wall updates?
No, I don't have one yet. We'll have one soon.
Kyle, John Cougar Mellencamp, when the walls come tumbling down. All right. Let's see.
It's time for wall updates.
How about we get Reagan going, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall?
That was not bad either. Okay, combine those two, Kyle. Tortilla, go, Rebecca.
Over at the Disneyland Resort down at Downtown Disney, it originally opened as Uriba. It has become Tortilla Joe's, and now
oh my God.
It will be Arthur and Sons.
We were there, Jeremiah.
Bourbon, along with a Pearl's roadside barbecue. So the demolition has begun at Tortilla Joe's.
And I know Mike Celestino got to see some of the work being done at the Grand Californian about a week ago. But we were there. We got to stay at the Grand Californian. Oh my goodness, it was so awesome! Wow. But so we got some pictures of the pool area.
Plush bed, soft sheets.
This is the pool next to the DVC wing. The pool.
I was so jealous.
Adding some cabanas and doing some refurb work on the pool. The rest of the pools do remain fully open. It is as plush and luxurious as ever. So
can I, in all seriousness, I really want to give a tremendous shout out to the design of the Grand Californian Hotel. We were sitting poolside there, and I mean, literally right behind us is an entire theme park with roller coasters and all kinds of insanity. But yet, where I was poolside with a nice beverage, a cool breeze, the sun beating down. It was a spa day. It was amazing. Now, unfortunately, that spa day was broken up by construction. However, literally, right there, it was loud. But when you would go into your room or down the hallway, however they've constructed that hotel, it was minimal. Like you would easily forget that there was that amount of construction happening so close to your room. When you were at your room, when you were in the lobby, when you were outside poolside, unfortunately, the noise was much louder when it was happening. But like I say, in my room, I closed the door. It was beautiful. It was so quiet. I was shocked.
So the Grand Californian was designed with double pane glass to keep the sounds of downtown Disney and the Disney's California Adventure theme park out of your room, unless you open up that window and you can look right out.
It's amazing.
Like I had to sell that or something.
Yeah, no, I remember that being part of the spiel when the place opened, but to actually experience it, I took some video of the construction sound in the lobby and then went back to my room and took some video. So because I wanted to share that the next time I get together with our friends at MEI to talk about vacation planning, because it really struck me how well constructed they are as far as noise. And I know Benji had a very similar experience at his recent stay. No, Benji recently was at Terra Luna, which is not a luxury hotel there at Universal, and it did not have similar sound dampening design.
Over at Disney California Adventure, walls, or at least construction, is going on at the former Disney Junior, as it is being transformed into getting a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse makeover. And a new show inspired by Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is coming May 16th. Mike, are you psyched to check out this new show when it opens?
Can't wait.
I know, Mike. Mike loves Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. He loved Disney Junior Live on Stage. That was like a weekly visit for you, right? Every time you went to the park, you had to see that. Also,
I was front row, right up against the barricade.
Keeping the wall theme going over at the Emporium in Magic Kingdom. There are walls, but they're slowly coming down and revealing lots more free space, which will make it easier to ingress and egress out of there on a crowded night. Love the way that all the shops, really, it feels to me, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels to me like all the shops of Walt Disney World have so much more empty space than they used to, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah. But
Very nice.
I'm sure they'll put in more fixtures once they finish everything.
No, don't say that. And finally, Jeremiah got to see his favorite person at the new ice cream shop / dessert shop that just reopened at Pop Century. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
So yeah, the Everything Pop shop and eatery opened finally. Their final part of it opened, which is their coffee area, also their dessert area. They brought over the Mickey's Brownie Sundae that when I was going there and everybody's sending me the photos of this, I kept going, where I've seen this ice cream truck before. Yes. And no, none of my team could say, oh yes, that was a DCA or Disneyland last summer. But then I ran into Shannon, who was modeling it for us, and she is the Walt Disney World ambassador. I turned the corner, and there she was holding it. I'm like, I need this picture. And then she posed for us.
All right, let's get back to the Disneyland Resort real quick, back to the West Coast, where Stitch's Interplanetary Beach Party, which is straight out of the machine, is going to be coming to the Disneyland Resort again on May 23rd. I feel like May 23rd is kind of a key date around. There's something going on. Is this a big year for Disney that I'm not aware of? So this is May 23rd at Tomorrowland Terrace.
Yeah, we have to celebrate happy.
So Mike will be here too after he will definitely rope drop the show DCA show because that's his favorite. But then he'll be heading over here to get this. And also the Pixar Pals Playtime Party is coming May 23rd as well. This is at the Fantasyland Theater. Have they had anything there since Mickey's Mix Magic Mike? Not Magic Mike.
Oh. They've been doing like random like for the Disneyland of After Dark stuff. They've been doing shows in the Fantasyland.
There's the next LP on location. Mickey's Mix Magic Mike takes the stage.
Oh my goodness. And then I guess we found out, this is kind of cool, that there's going to be a walk around Rex coming to Pixar Pier June 1st.
Well, he's appeared on the Disney Cruise Line for the Pixar Days at Sea, and I believe he has also shown up at some of the H2O Glows after hours, but this is the first time he's appearing for photos in the Disneyland Resort area.
And finally, Mike, Knott's Berry Farm, go.
Boysenberry Festival 2025 is the 10th anniversary of this seasonal event. It's very popular at Knott's Berry Farm. They have all sorts of boysenberry flavored food offerings. There's entertainment. There's merchandise.
What was your favorite boysenberry thing this season, Mike?
Well, I can't eat any of it, but I did take some friends.
You can't any of it? There wasn't one thing?
Oh, well, I like the boysenberry flavored lemonade. But boysenberry cucumber lemonade I had, and boysenberry pomegranate lemonade, both of which were very good. We did some food reviews, though. I had some friends with me, put them all up in a post with some images. There's the tasting card that Knott's was nice enough to provide us with. There's some of the menu items.
Was there a highlight? Was there a winner amongst your friends, you think, that kind of
they
must do?
I think they loved the boysenberry meatball hoagie and the boysenberry double stuffed baked potato, I think it was called.
Oh.
So I got to go to Knott's Berry Farm last week as well, and the Boysenberry Festival hadn't started yet, but we got kind of a preview of it at an IAAPA event. And Mike, I can't believe you didn't say like the Boysenberry Cosmopolitan is your thing. No?
I haven't had that, I don't think.
Okay, so yeah, they were giving out flights of boysenberry alcohol. I don't drink, so I didn't get to enjoy them, but the Cosmopolitan seemed to be the favorite among people. I will tell you that the vegan white chocolate and boysenberry tart is absolutely disgusting, and this is spoken by a vegetarian, but the vegan thing, not good. But the one consensus by the end of the event was, I never want to see boysenberry again in my life. Everything they served us at this was our dinner for the day. Every single thing they served us had boysenberry in it, and you can indeed have too much boysenberry in your life.
No, you can't. I had some the next day because you brought me home some boysenberry pie, and that's what I had for breakfast.
Yeah, they had many boysenberry desserts they were serving us, not boysenberry pie, much to people's disappointment. But then they gave you a box of it to take home with you. So,
I've never done the Boysenberry Festival, but Mike, is there like an entertainment boy band called Boys and Berry? Because I think that is.
I'm really surprised they haven't.
They don't. They do have a walk around. No, it's going to become a walk around character, they think, next year. But right now, it's just a merchandising character. What's his name? Do you remember the name of it?
Betty Boysen.
Betty Boysen, yes, Betty Boysen.
Who I think that's a character that existed like 100 years ago for the original berry farm stand that they had.
The merchandise person was telling us that they literally cannot create anything that does not have its roots in the history of Knott's Berry Farm or California or whatever. They can't create
like
anything.
They're not allowed
totally
to.
New. That's what he was making it sound like.
Okay.
Yeah, like they have to root it to something from the past, which makes sense for Knott's Berry Farm and this whole thing. So, all right, Boysenberry Festival underway now at Knott's Berry Farm. Go check it out.
Yeah, Chuck Berry would be good.
And I still want. I'm so sad, Mike, that you are not able to do this. I mean, could you do it and not swallow? Maybe.
No, I think that would be bad for me.
No, it would be bad.
You don't have to eat it. They don't want you to eat it. They just want you to get it out of the pan. But then his beard would be all blue. And
if I could use like one of those grabby sticks from a distance, I would do it.
From a distance. All right, a couple other quick items before we say goodbye. Blizzard Beach, Jeremiah is back. 30th anniversary.
No, it's still open. It is actually going to stay open all summer. The 30th anniversary kicked off on April 1st, and it was supposed to go till the end of the month when it's going to close. But
wait,
yes,
wait. Why, Benji, are you waving like there's an airport?
Did you notice the messaging when they announced this? And they said all 6 parks will be open.
Did they really?
Yes.
On April 1st.
Yes, they did.
Disney finally pushes back a little bit, having some fun.
Yes, they did.
So Jeremiah was there for the 30th anniversary. Opened just before Goofy movie came out. Apparently, this is so cute. And then we got the news, as Benji said, that all parks, both water parks, are going to be open from May 21st through September 7th.
For the first time in forever.
A long, long time, including H2O nights returning to Typhoon Lagoon. Select nights May 23rd through September 13th.
H2O nights are great. If you've not tried an H2O night, highly recommend. I think they're a blast.
O2H. All
right.
Living
in Florida, we would be going to an H2O night. I
almost missed this. This one's potentially exciting, as it is. It's not that big a deal. This is not worthy of a picture. But airport luggage transfer service piloting at select Walt Disney World value hotels. That means dropping off your luggage and it will magically just get checked in to your flight without you.
There are many ifs on this right now.
You have to be on Southwest.
Yes, that is the biggest if. It's only for Southwest, which is nice because they have free luggage though. So, for now. And it's only at value resorts. That's the All Stars, Art of Animation, and Pop Century. There are rules for when you have to check it in. If your flight's too early, you have to check in the previous night. Otherwise, 4 hours before. But the hope is that this is the first step. This is no inside info. Just want this to be the first step in bringing back Magical Express, where this was a standard thing.
Everybody's hoping and wishing and hoping.
Yes. Well, not everybody.
Even if it's
Uber
just the luggage, like. Even if you can just chuck in your luggage and you can't take a bus, you have to, buy your own, do whatever. That's still a benefit.
It's huge because you can leave your luggage, go play in the parks for the day, and then go to the airport without having to go back to your hotel to deal with your bag. So that truly is a big deal. All right. Anybody got anything else before we close out this super duper edition of the show?
Nope.
I also want to
Would
say,
you-
go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Going back to Knott's for 1 minute, I did put up a 30-minute video of the new show in the Birdcage Theater called The Great Bank Robbery. If you're a fan of Knott's Berry Farm, it's worth watching because the show includes a lot of little fun Easter eggs from the park's history.
I heard about that. We had the entertainment guy there telling us about some of that stuff. So cool. I'm excited to see this myself. We didn't get to see the show. We heard how cool it is without being shown to us.
It's
So
very
let's
fun.
check this out. Jeremiah, you had something to say?
I was going to say, Doobie, wouldn't you have just called this an epic edition of Park Talk?
If I were Kyle, I would have done that, but I'm not that clever. All right. I believe Rebecca already said no. So thank you for joining us. Thank you.
No, I said except for the last thing on my list.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then go ahead.
Ticket sales in a week for Destination D23. If you are so inclined, it is down there in Florida, August 29th through the 31st, celebrating things like a Goofy movie and Emperor's New Groove. They're also going to have a panel about kind of the history of Disney's global inspiration. So looking at, kind of places around the world that have inspired Disney products and creations. So want to make sure you're aware that tickets go on sale April 14th. More information obviously is available on our website and at Disney D23. So be sure to check that out.
Absolutely. Okay. Thanks again to Benji. Thanks for Jeremiah. Something to declare, Jeremiah?
I've already
declared it, but I
Okay.
just wanted to show it off again because
Yep,
today
it's
is the 30th anniversary of a Goofy movie. It's one of those movies that I was lucky enough to see in the theaters and love. The upcoming More Than a Goof that's going to be on Disney Plus. I got a chance to see that once upon a time, and it is very entertaining. It's more non-Disney than you would think that Disney would permit, but they do a great job of talking about everything.
Is that not on Disney Plus already?
It's out, I believe it's out today. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, not just a goof. There it is.
Yeah.
Not just a goof. Okay. Great. Well, thanks for joining us again. Thanks for Benji for joining us, and hope you enjoyed the Epic Universe discussion. And with that, we will see you probably in a couple of weeks because Star Wars Celebration is coming soon. So we'll probably be on a bit of a hiatus for that, but then we'll be back after. Yes, Mike? Oh, just getting excited for Star Wars Celebration. Okay.
No, I'll be in Japan next week, so
yeah,
I won't be on the show.
You can do the show. It'll be like middle of the day over there for you.
Bye, everybody.
Take your word for it.
Be sociable.